This is the exact strategy that I use to dropship products from Amazon directly onto TikTok Shop, and how I get past the tracking issues that most dropshippers deal with when trying to sell here. So first, it's important to understand that if you want to dropship directly to customers using TikTok Shop, you need to change your shipping settings in the back end of your shop first. To do this, go to orders on the left when you're in the back end of your shop, and then once you click that tab down, you'll see the shipping options. Click that, and that will take you to the page where you can then select the option to use the seller shipping and not the normal TikTok shipping labels. Because if you don't switch and you continue to use the TikTok shipping, then your customers' addresses will be blurred out when you get orders, so you won't know where to ship them and you can't drop ship. Now, I made this mistake myself in the beginning, and that's how I know. But assuming you switched it to seller shipping and you can now drop ship directly to your customers using TikTok Shop, you now don't need to hold any inventory yourself because you can see their addresses to order to their specific location and person, and you can then input the tracking number directly from your supplier into that TikTok Shop order. Now, it's also important to understand TikTok's rules so you can do this properly without getting in trouble. On TikTok Shop, you need to ship the product out in 3 days, or your supplier does, obviously, and your products need to be delivered in under 11 days, assuming you've already changed your shipping template to use the economy shipping that grants you that 11 days. To do that, go to that same orders tab on the left in the back end of your TikTok Shop, and then click shipping templates this time right under that, and select your shipping template. You can now select whether you want to charge for shipping or not. And you can also choose what shipping options your customer will have the option to pick from when they're checking out on your shop. This right here is where you'll want to choose that economy shipping. That will buy you the most potential time that you're allowed on TikTok Shop to get your products delivered to the customer. But obviously, if your product's delivered way ahead of that, it's fine and your customer will be happy. They'll also see that tracking number, so they'll know that it's supposed to be delivered in 3 days or 5 days or 7 days or whatever. But allowing yourself that 11-day window helps in case your supplier is slow or for whatever reason your shipment is delayed, so always pick that. Now, because the longest amount of time that you can have to deliver your packages on TikTok Shop is only 11 days, I do not recommend drop shipping from any overseas suppliers like AliExpress. Now, if you're using AliExpress or somewhere like Zendrop where there's US warehouses and the shipping time fits those parameters, then it's fine. But if you're using overseas suppliers, it'll result in annoyed customers, canceled orders, and inevitably a suspended shop when your products aren't delivered fast enough or your tracking numbers can't be verified as delivered properly within that correct time frame. But none of this is a problem for me because I drop ship from Amazon onto TikTok Shop. Now, in the beginning, I test with Amazon products because there's millions of products that you can choose from that have high quality product pictures that you can use and descriptions that you can also use. Plus, most of the higher rated products have at least a few review videos, which means I can test products quickly without needing to spend any money or any time creating UGC content myself, which I hate. And believe it or not, lots of them have even a dozen or even more sometimes product review videos on the actual listing, which is a TikTok Shop dropshipper's dream. It is stupidly easy to use these. Now, I've talked about how to do this in another video in the past, so I'll just link that at the bottom of the description if you want to learn how you can also do it too. I don't want to go too in depth in this video on that. Now, Amazon is a great supplier for this because the shipping time to customers is often super fast, even without Prime. The quality is obviously good, so customers are happy, which means higher reviews for you, and that essential snowball effect, which will increase the conversion rate as newer customers come and hit your landing page as well and see all those reviews. And one of my favorite reasons for using Amazon is if I ever get a return, I know they'll honor a refund and I can always ship it back to them. So I'm never jumping through hoops trying to get my supplier to take a return back. Now, when you are drop shipping from Amazon, it's important to understand that you cannot use Amazon Prime if you're drop shipping directly to customers. You need to use a normal Amazon account without Prime. Otherwise, Amazon will suspend your Prime privileges for ordering to too many addresses at once. Another issue a lot of dropshippers face with both Amazon and Walmart as a supplier is using the tracking numbers. About half the time you'll get a UPS, a USPS, or a FedEx tracking number on your Amazon or your Walmart order or for whatever. And of course, that's when you just then input that tracking number into your TikTok Shop order. It's easy. But what if you get an Amazon TBA tracking number instead, and you're now stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you have no actual tracking number to input in your order? Now you're worried that TikTok's going to cancel your order, you won't get paid out, and you're out the money for the order. Well, Track Taco has been my go-to solution for that for years. It is a game changer. It saved me literally thousands of times across drop shipping on Facebook Marketplace, drop shipping on Amazon, drop shipping on Mercari, and now drop shipping on TikTok Shop too. So typically when you have an order from somewhere like Amazon, as you can see here, oftentimes you'll get that UPS, that USPS, or that FedEx tracking number, and that makes it really easy to just copy that order and then also paste it right back into the TikTok Shop order. It's a no-brainer. It's super easy. But what happens, let's say on Amazon, if you drop ship a product and you go to track the package here and it says TBA tracking number, that's Amazon Logistics, and you can't put this number into any marketplace, let alone TikTok Shop, because A, that screams you drop shipped it from Amazon, and also B, TBA tracking numbers are not an option to input as a carrier on these marketplaces. So what do? Well, in this case, I just use Track Taco, so I'll go back to the order. In this case, this person lives in Malibu, California. You go to the track package, it will tell you, this one was already delivered, but it will tell you the estimated delivery date. So it will say like estimated delivered on, today's the 16th, and when I'm recording this, let's say it said estimated delivery on the 18th of January, right? So then I would take this, like I said, they live in Malibu, California. It's estimated to be delivered on the 18th of January. So I'm going to say Malibu, California. I need a tracking number that's going to be delivered to Malibu, California on the 18th of January, or preferably a day or two later than that if I can get one. Now, if you can't, it's totally fine. Just get the delivered date. But if not, get a day or two later, just in case the carrier is a little bit slower or it's delayed. Because if your customer gets the package delivered before the estimated delivery date on their end, when they're looking at their order, they're going to be happy, right? It's like, oh, it showed up fast. There's going to be no issues. But if you mark it delivered on the 18th for whatever reason, and for whatever reason, Amazon's slower delivering it and it's delayed a day, they're going to assume that they've gotten scammed or something along those lines because it says delivered on their TikTok Shop order, but it's not there. So trust me when I say if you can go a day or two later, do that. If not, it's not that big of a deal. It just might mean that you might have to message back and forth with them saying like, hey, just give it another day. It could be delayed. Doesn't happen often, but again, I like to preface it by saying because that is an issue when you do this enough that you might potentially run into from time to time. Not a big deal though. Now, what I'll do is I'll go to Track Taco, which is my go-to software for this, dropshipping on every marketplace, but especially TikTok Shop lately. And where's it going? It's going to Malibu, California. So we're going to put Malibu in there, to CA, the abbreviation for California. The destination country is obviously the US. You can pick other countries as well. Track Taco works with a lot of countries now. It's not just the US, but obviously I'm within the US. The date range here. So I'm going to pick a date that's on the 18th. We want to change it from delivered. You can pick in transit or delivered. So for example, if you forgot to put your tracking number in and need a tracking number that's marked delivered, you can just pick delivered and then take one of those and then input it in there so your package is marked delivered and you get credit for it and you get paid out on TikTok Shop because it's delivered, right? But in our case, for this order, we're going to go in transit. So Malibu, California, it's going to still be in transit, and we need something that's on the 18th or later. So I'm going to select the 18th or later, and it's going to show me all these specific delivery dates on the 18th or later to Malibu, California. Now, if I wanted to go a day later, I would say just pick 19th or later and see if there's any tracking numbers for that. And there is, so I'd probably pick one of these. I would then click Get TN, Get Tracking Number. It's going to cost you a credit, and bam, now you can copy the actual tracking number and input it into your TikTok Shop order. This has been a lifesaver, again, for TikTok Shop, but Amazon, Facebook Marketplace, Mercari, any place that you're drop shipping from, can't recommend Track Taco enough. It's a lifesaver. Now, if you do want credits, you can sign up and you can pick from one of their packages. Obviously, the more you buy at once, the cheaper it's going to end up being. So if you're just testing it out and you want to start with a $25 package for 100 credits, it's still super cheap per tracking number. But if you're doing this seriously and you're a serious drop shipper like I am, I always go for the 1,000 credits at once and just get the 25% bulk discount. You could even go more than that if you want, but I never personally have. The tracking numbers are cheap, regardless how you slice it. If you go for the $25 package or whatever. Now, let me give you another example from Amazon. So this one, okay, we did that one. Now, this person lives in Yorba Linda, California, and they ordered this, right? So again, if I click the tracking number and we track the package and they give me a TBA tracking number, well, I can't put that into TikTok Shop. So instead, what I would do is I'd go back to the order details. I'd go Yorba Linda, California. In this case, again, it was already delivered, but let's say that this one was estimated to be delivered on the 17th this time. So we'd go to Yorba Linda, California. We'd go back into Track Taco. We'd pick Yorba Linda, we'd keep it California, and we'd go, okay, 17th or after, or in this case, we'd go 1 day later to see, and we'd say the 18th or after, and it's going to show us all the potential tracking numbers for the 18th or after. Now, if you do have a tracking number that's like way out into the future, like a week and a half, 2 weeks in the future, sometimes you won't get a tracking number, and that's totally fine. But the benefit of using this with TikTok Shop specifically is you have to deliver your products on TikTok Shop within that 11-day window. So you really won't run into this issue using TikTok Shop. It's not something like Facebook Marketplace or like even Shopify, for example, where like you can have shipping times that are like 2 weeks or more. You're not really going to run into that issue on TikTok Shop because again, your packages need to be delivered within that 11-day window. So Track Taco is going to get you pretty much every single time. And if you do run into that issue, a little hack is, for example, like Yorba Linda, let's say that this was like a week out and Yorba Linda didn't have any tracking numbers. Well, I would just pick the closest major city to Yorba Linda in California, knowing that there's a higher population in that major city that's close to Yorba Linda, California, and understanding that with that higher population, there's going to be a larger number of deliveries in the FedEx or UPS system that allows me to grab a tracking number from there and get one a lot easier. So that's a little hack. If for whatever reason you can't find it, just pick the largest city close to it, right? Now, again, the next option, obviously we talked about date ranges. You can pick in transit, which is 99% of what you're going to use, or you can pick already delivered if you want that for whatever reason. You can also specifically, if you want to use FedEx, UPS, or DHL specifically, pick one of those two in the actual tab, and then it will only generate tracking numbers from that actual carrier if that's what you want for whatever reason. I always just keep it any because it doesn't really matter to me which one it's coming from, assuming obviously that your marketplace or wherever you're drop shipping on allows all of those things, right? If it doesn't allow DHL and there's no slot to put DHL in there, some of them that's the case, but not on TikTok Shop, then you just unselect that and you'd go FedEx or UPS, right? Now, you can also pick the earliest ship date. I never really use that because again, I'm drop shipping, but it's just something that you can use if you want to. You can also select the shipment origin if you're drop shipping on somewhere like Amazon and you're freaking out that they're tracking where the actual shipment is originating from and shipping from. If you're worried about that, it hasn't been an issue for me over thousands of transactions on Amazon or anywhere else. But again, if you're freaking out about that, you can use that. You can also verify that it hasn't been tracked with Walmart because a lot of times I always say don't drop ship from Walmart onto Amazon. But if you are doing that, you're going against my recommendation, then that's definitely something you'd want to click because Amazon tracks those specific packages because they don't want people drop shipping from Walmart to Amazon. And so that's why that's there, just to kind of give you a little background on why that is there. You won't run into that issue because you're not stupid enough to try to do that. Like I said, you can also select the minimum and max weight, and then you can see the other tracking numbers that you've generated down there. Now, that's Track Taco. It doesn't just work with Amazon. Again, if for whatever reason you were doing it from Walmart and this gave you a DoorDash tracking number like Walmart tends to do, you would just do the same exact thing to that city, that state, a day or two after, preferably the delivery date estimated on Walmart, and then input it into your TikTok Shop order. That's been my secret for a while now, for thousands of transactions across pretty much every marketplace that I've drop shipped on, assuming that you can put your own tracking number into that order on that marketplace. So like not like Poshmark, but pretty much every other one. It's not just for drop shipping from Amazon or from Walmart though. You can use it from any supplier that doesn't give you a tracking number to input into your order. Just generate one to that city and that state that your customer is in on the day of the estimated delivery, or preferably a day or two later even, just in case the shipment is running late, and then bam, easy, you've got one in your order and you're good to go. I say a day or two later most times because sometimes shipments can be delayed, and if a tracking number in an order on, say, TikTok Shop is all of a sudden marked delivered and the customer gets notified, but it's not there, you're gonna have a headache and a problem on your hands. On the contrary, if you mark it a day or two later using Track Taco and it shows up a day or two before that estimated marked delivered date, the customer's just gonna be happy and they're not gonna realize it. So that's typically the way to go.